I hate to even say this on camera, but the black community alone,
Right.
I've lost a lot of faith. All right, time to get the nerves out the way. I get nervous every time.
No reason to get nervous. We've done this a million times.
Yeah, I know, but it means something to me. So, how y'all doing today, guys? This is All Day 1102 Network, the Pod Family Sessions for Your Blessings. My name is Kashawn Chadwick. I also have my not co-host, but my other host, Day Day. You feel me? AJ, aka D Gas. You feel me? And today we have a special guest by the name of Torry Koonce, aka Toe. So, first of all, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I've been busy all month. I'm always busy, but I feel good.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing to be busy.
Yes.
You understand? So tell us all about yourself. Let's get into your humble beginnings. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Duffield.
Duffield community?
Yeah,
shout out Duffield community.
I was raised by my mother, Lena Wallace Koonce and George Koonce.
Okay.
I was raised originally in Duffield, and then I moved into the Jasper area when I got a little bit older. So I'm from kind of both. Okay. I was raised in both of them.
So what was it like having the city life and then going into the country like that?
It taught me a lot because my mother at the time taught me, at the time she was the only self-entrepreneur that I knew.
Okay.
So I was seeing a lot of stuff that was important, but I didn't realize how important it was until I got older. Okay. So I had to understand where I was coming from, going to the country and what it was all about. I didn't really understand what it was all about until I got older.
Yeah, because when you're in the country, you got to be real self-sufficient. So I come from the country and then I moved to the city.
Right.
So it was a real big culture shock for me. Tell me about the importance of being self-sufficient like that.
It took a lot of faith from my mother. We come from like basically nothing. And so I seen it with my own eyes. I understand how an empty refrigerator looks. Yeah. And then, to take us from that, to take us to the country and put us in a home. And I knew how a full refrigerator looked. Right. So it was humbling, you know what I'm saying? Our whole family, it was 4 of us, and it was real humbling for us to understand family and how family worked. And she made us stand on, the importance of family, So I understood that at a young age. I just didn't understand what I was actually seeing.
Okay. You were able to apply that knowledge after you had a better understanding once you matured. And you started to notice, hey, well, this happened. Oh, now I know what was happening in that situation, basically.
Somewhat, because as I got older and I was like back and forth from the country, going back to New Bern, and at that time it was a lot of culture wars, like, what the culture was really doing. And I got caught up in what the culture was doing. So I didn't look like my decisions wasn't really saying how I was really raised. You know what I'm saying? It was like I was making a lot of bad decisions. And so when I look back on the decisions I made or look back on that, I look at myself and say what I learned about myself since then. And you know what I'm saying? So now that I look at myself and I learn myself since then, it's a lot that I learned and I apply to myself now. But back then, it was more so I was caught up in being a bad son. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we being caught up in that, we can't mature and become, who we want to become because we get caught up in all this other stuff that's going on. And that happened to me. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen to my whole family, but it happened to me. You know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot from it. And I wouldn't trade it in, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I learned more from that than any other part of my life.
Now, with the mental health, because that's the main reason why you is here.
Right.
Why is that so overlooked in, the black community?
I think my personal opinion is they're using a format that's so old. And the mental health people of that time when they was using it, it's a different type of mental health now. it's a different type of mental health, and sometimes we can get misdiagnosed for certain things, and it doesn't have,
ADHD era.
it doesn't have to actually be what they're diagnosing it as.
Right.
But when you're going off a format that's that old, you know what I'm saying, you can only diagnose what the format's saying diagnose it as. So my thing is to bring awareness to that problem. And, like the other healthcare providers in this area and the Raleigh area where I work, I think we should come together as one to just, present this cause that it's a real problem and it's not getting better. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's not getting better.
Yeah.
So you brought up something that is one of my biggest problems about my people. I'm mixed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My mom definitely not black, Mexican, Puerto Rican. My dad black as midnight. We won't talk about it. But the thing is about my community that really bothers me is there's no unity.
Right.
At all. For some reason, it's hard for me as a black man to have a business, him as a black man to have a black business, and we come together and not allow things like money to get in the picture,
right,
and to break us apart. How important is unity to the black community?
You take his parents, which I got a lot of respect for. Me and you can get a business today and start a business right now, today. Mm-hmm. But that's, just to have a black-owned business, it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
The thing that means something is the longevity of it, how they're able to keep it going and stay a focus for the community to see. Those, you know what I'm saying? My mother taught me this. She said, she suffered like the first 5 years, but she put a lot of faith in the business, that she had a daycare, and she put a lot of faith into the business, but she suffered for 5 years. But as time, in due time, everything healed itself. And she became like a cornerstone of the community, mm-hmm, based off her faith in it. So for, like your parents, I take my hat off, because a lot goes into keeping a business going in this time we're in, when there's no unity with the people. During that time, other than my mother, only black business I knew was Mike's Barbershop at the time. You know what I'm saying? It was probably some more, but the only ones I was familiar with was Mike's Barbershop. And then you take my family. My brother comes and, he goes into the NFL and he becomes, he starts his business. I'm gonna show you how difficult it is. Right. And he started his own business, following the footsteps of my mother, and problems happened and it wasn't able to keep going. Mm-hmm. But this coming from a guy, my mother, that has nothing and started a business and it became successful. She was in daycare over 40 years. And you take a brother, a millionaire, start a business, and it couldn't last 2 years. Right. And it all comes down to, I think, faith and, in the community, the unity of the community. It's a little bit of both. Okay. And, but being that we as black people are so, divided at this point, you know what I'm saying? We're pushing that down to our children, too, to be divided, too, also. And if we don't stop it, it's not going to stop if we don't have to.
Because we once had it.
Right.
We once had it.
Right.
Now the black dollar in the community goes how far? I think they said 5 minutes. It can't last about 5 minutes in the community. Right. It leaves. Why do you think that is? I understand there's things like redlining. I understand there's things like gentrification. But how do you think, just in your personal opinion, since we're on the conversation, how we can get the black dollar back to us? How can we keep it here? Because like you said, it's not about getting it. Getting it is easy. Right. The hard part is keeping it.
Right.
So how can we keep it?
It has to be if we don't come together first, you know what I'm saying? It has to be us as people, young, young and old, have to come together. And, everything starts with correction. The thing with us as black people, we don't like being corrected, and we don't like being told anything. You know what I'm saying? But a real good person, a real good son, as I said, he always remained teachable. And if you're not remaining teachable, you can never be told anything.
Amen.
So if we ain't able to come together and listen to each other and unite in the community, that's the only way we're going to start seeing anything.
Do you think part of it is, though, because we haven't been so-and-so taught like some folks haven't been taught like how to save money, how to keep it, and things like that. Do you think like that's part of the reason why?
I think that is the reason why. You know, you take, like I said, I'm gonna use my own family. I like pointing my fingers at myself and what I've been through. You take, you know, my family, you take a guy, you know, turned 22 years old, you make him a millionaire, and he's never been around millionaires. He's never been around people of any type of money value. And you tell him, here you go, you know, do something with it. But if I don't know what to do with it, if I'm not taught what to do with it, and I'm not taught like, you know, anything about it, I'm gonna make mistakes. And then people are gonna look at it and try to point fingers, but it ain't really, you shouldn't really point fingers. It's all about, it's just we wasn't taught that. And the schools is not giving us
financial literacy
at
all.
Right. And I think we should create avenues ourselves as people for that. You know, avenues, we should create other opportunities for people. And that's what I'm doing with the publishing company. I feel like I don't like being labeled as an urban writer. I feel like we can write. I just want to be labeled a writer. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we should bring that avenue in before we can get the younger people to write from their heart or write plays or write. They can be writers. They don't like, you know, they try to label us with everything. So I feel like they can just label us as writers, not more so urban writers or, you know, anything like that. But that's the difficult things that we as Black people have to rise above. You know what I'm saying? To come together in unity. But a lot of us feel like unity is not the way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like unity is the only way if we want to see real change.
So you brought up Teachable, right? You brought up Teachable. Don't get me wrong. I'm a kid from the 90s. I'm a knucklehead. I didn't listen either. But I also ran across, you know, the old heads who didn't want to give up free game.
Right.
You understand? And they were trailblazers in our community, like yourself, like Boo, like Miss Denise, shout out.
Right.
And they didn't want to just give it out. It's hard to go, and there's so much pride in it.
Yeah.
To say us as young people going to somebody like you, hey man, how'd you get this? How'd you get that? And then, but there's a lot of pride there to where a lot of older people or the trailblazers in the community, they want you to get it out the mud. They kind of look at you like, hey brother, you got to get it like I did. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Shaq saying that he wasn't going to help his sons, but he'd help his daughters. Like, no, you got to figure it out on your own. Why?
How
can we bridge that gap?
If we're taught the first responsibility, I feel, this is coming from me, if we honor our first responsibility as a person, we're able to be that much greater. I'm gonna give you an example. Like, when you're born, your given name is first your son. When your mother, when they take you to your mother, they be like, here's your son. And our responsibility is to be a good son. Then she names you, and then you honor your mother and father. All right. If we can't be a good son, we can't be a good friend. If I can't be a good friend, I can't be a good brother. I can't be a good father. This is why you see a lot of people that can't work, because they can't be a good employee. And you can't be, as the titles go on in your life, you're not able to be a good person because you're not honoring that first stage, that first responsibility of being a good son. Once you're able to be a good son, you're able to be a good person. You're able to be especially when they get to fatherhood. And if you're doing everything the right way. I seen like you just had a child and you're understanding fatherhood and you know the responsibility of it. But if you honoring, I'm being a good son, I'm able to move into these other titles. But you got to do it the right way. I tell guys to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
I find that very ironic. Today was my first day going back to church in like about a year.
Right.
Okay. Shout out Pastor Stephen White. He said today in church that we have to be a servant first. So that kind of brung, you know what I'm saying, that held truth for me, because you have to be a good servant. It's all about being a good human being first. At the end of the day, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve you as my brother in Christ.
That's right.
You understand? So
exactly.
When it comes to what you're trying to put, what exactly, let's just get to the nitty gritty now, right? What exactly are you trying to push into the community?
I'm trying to push a vision. It's a vision that I have.
Talk to us about that vision.
The vision I have was like my grandmother told me New Bern was a great city one time, full of black businesses and everything. I didn't get to see it, but she told me about it. And she used to tell me, you could be the one that make the difference and bring New Bern back to its glory. She said it's gonna take some work, but it can be done. And she was like, it's to the point I don't even like walking around New Bern no more. That's how bad it had got. And it's got worse since I was here. You know what I'm saying? And, like I come back now, I know I've been gone a long time, and I do a lot of work in Raleigh. And I used to be like, I can't start up there without coming and repair some of the things that I've done here. You know what I'm saying? I helped damage a lot of this community with the things that I was doing. So it's only fair that I help repair some of the things. Not by pointing fingers and telling guys, you need to stop doing this or stop doing that, but just creating, what I'm saying, myself as a resource. A resource for somebody can use the information that I'm giving and use it on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling, the truth about us as people and the things that we're going through and how we need to grow. If any growth going to come from the community, it's going to have to start with us really, coming together as a union.
And your grandma's right, man, because these past years, all these killings, man, like it's really getting worse.
It's really,
I mean, people I done went to school with, graduated with, I mean, it's always a body dropping, it seems like.
Yeah, we've lost at least 6 people this year already.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This year just started, and we only, 3 months in?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like, I done lost, you know what I'm saying, people that I just know.
Right.
Or went to school with. So, and a lot of that can't be prevented. A lot of that is like, it can be mental.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is just like nonsense,
Yeah.
So it is a lot of things that can change, that actually can happen. So
and it sounds like you're started. And what I love about you already, I don't know him, I don't know you, but I love what you're saying because it honestly, to me, it's a definition of a man.
Right.
You are one, you're holding yourself accountable, and I respect that.
Right.
And you're being transparent and understanding the fact that, if I broke it,
right,
I should at least help fix it.
Right.
You understand? You can't fix it by yourself because it just wasn't you.
Mm-hmm.
But are you trying to get other people or like an outreach to help build around? Like, what's your audience? Who are you trying to get?
Like I got a like in Raleigh and other areas, I got a lot of people that's helping me behind me. But I figure I do all the groundwork, put in the tough work because, a lot of stuff I say is not received well. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk on many different levels. I'm just talking on one level here, but I talk on many different levels. And I'm not afraid to address problems. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because everything starts with correction. And I feel like if I'm being corrected, everybody can be corrected up under that same umbrella. So it's a lot of people that's backing, pushing the vision, but I'm more so in front of it, you know what I'm saying, as for now. But as it goes on, as we get more support from like guys like yourself and other guys, because I'm learning from y'all also, you know what I'm saying? My ear is not shut, you know what I'm saying? We got to hear you speak, we got to hear y'all speak to get some type of understanding of what's really going on. Because I don't know I'm not out in the streets no more. I'm not in that culture no more to really know like what's going on. Like, why are y'all killing each other? And why is this going on? Right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even, I feel like that's Capitol Hill's problem to tell them to put a gun down. My thing is to really tell them a message of truth, like being a good son. Like, you know what I'm saying? And start with the ones that want to hear the message, you know what I'm saying? Because it starts with that.
I like that. So you said a message of truth.
Yep.
Your jacket you got on is standing in your truth. So what does that mean to you? Or is there a specific reason, like with that on your jacket right there, standing in your truth?
It's more so, it's what I'm becoming. I'm not saying I'm a good son yet. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm becoming that though.
Right.
And I feel like, to me, living a long life is not something that I really, really pray for. More so living a full life. If I'm able to live a full life, I feel like I serve my purpose, And I feel like my life is becoming full. If you take from what I come from and just keep drawing a circle, it's becoming full.
Right.
When you can look at it and be like, man, he used to do this, but now he's advocating for the youth, the mental health, and it's becoming a full life. So if it's, 100 years, so it'll be 100 years. If it's less than that, as long as I've lived a full life. And that's what it's not about me being on the forefront, saying, trying to be a celebrity or anything. When I come to these YouTube, or podcasts, it's not about me. It's more so about the vision. And, the Bible says the vision is for a time. And so it can't be about me if I'm, sending a message that's for the time we in. And we're in a time now where, a lot of mothers are crying.
Oh, yeah.
We losing, you say about your friends, I work with the troubled youth. And, my wife will tell you, I'm burying these young boys, man. And I be looking at it, man, it hurts me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, man, I live a way worse of life and did a lot more, things that they didn't even do, but they ended up in the graveyard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it hurts to see that. And that's why I really don't talk what I do behind the scenes, because I feel like I ain't really doing enough. Until I do enough where I got a high percentage of, I'm stopping that. That way I can say I can bring it to the front.
Well, I'm all about being a lot of people's truth is, of course, own perspective, but that may not be reality.
Right.
You understand? I'm going to be transparent with you, and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I personally don't think this is good. I don't think me and you or our children is going to see this fixed. I've lost faith.
Right.
That's just my truth. In my community, I have completely lost faith.
Right.
Whether you're talking about New Bern as a whole, or I hate to even say this on camera, but the Black community alone.
Right. I've
lost a lot of faith because there is no unity.
Right.
There is no community. Nobody. It seems like us as a whole can't find a middle ground. It seems like everybody, like when people say a white person walked in here, right? And this is this is a salon or something, right? So, have you ever seen somebody shake somebody's hand and there's just a head nod? Like there's just that understanding that they know.
Right.
I can do that with you as a Black man, but I do that to you as a Black man, and it's gonna be something different. We don't have that common ground at all. Our lives are so subjective.
Right.
That's why I've personally lost faith. Do you think with your belief, with your truth, do you believe that in your lifetime that you're going to see a dent in the work that you're trying to start today?
Man, that's a real tough question. I used to think like how you thought. In 2000, before COVID came, I was finna launch everything that I'm launching now, but COVID came and I had to take everything off the table and like relaunch it, restart it. But even when I was launching it, I had the mindset like that. I had kind of like the same mindset. But what broke me from that is I work with a lot of different races. Mexican, Hispanic, Chinese, you name it, I work with them.
Black and brown.
Black, Black. And what I'm noticing is everybody has their own type of problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, and I'm noticing like, okay, the Black community, that's our problem. That's what we're suffering from. But when you over here, they're suffering from a different type of problem.
Yeah.
They're suffering, but it's not the same problem that we have.
Right.
But I feel like if you knock it down, not to cut you off, because I want you to finish that. But if you knock it down and you narrow it down, it's all the same problem.
And that's what I was leading to.
Yeah.
It all leads to the same type of thing.
Right.
And this is one problem that I think we suffer from. I feel we all valuable. We all valuable. We all valuable. The thing is, we don't understand our value. And when you got a dormant value about you, it make you think, you know what I'm saying, your worth is not as it should be, as this one or that one. And you start making bad decisions based off how you value yourself. And so being that I don't value life, I pick up a gun and take a life because I don't value it, because I really don't value my own self-worth. Right. And so we got a lot of that going on, and that's a mental problem. And if we don't, you got to address it. We're not addressing these things. We're trying to address them when people get a lot upper in age, when we should start when they're younger, a lot younger. We're getting from really, you know what I'm saying, teaching, training the child in the way they'll go. You know what I'm saying? We're more so training, letting the world train the child and telling the world, you know, you got to understand that the child is, you know, if a child go to school, they in school more than they with you.
Tell me.
So they're learning, they're listening to you, but they're listening to the world too.
And they listen to the internet.
Right.
Like
they got a lot of more stuff than
the internet,
what I had when I was raised.
Law.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they be having to make more decisions. That's why I understand where they're coming from. Right. Because their decision making is not like how mine was when I was a child, when I was their age. They're pressed more. You know what I'm saying? It's more pressure on them to make a decision, do this, make a decision to do that. You know what I'm saying? And the world is constantly telling them to do stuff. And they get caught up in like you're saying, it's a different culture. You know what I'm saying? And then the world telling them wrong, you know what I'm saying, is right and right is wrong. Yeah. So you got all these narratives that the world is presenting to the child.
Today, I think today we have so many options that it's ridiculous.
Right.
So like at family functions, they try to keep, like especially like black family functions, they try not to have so much food because you give too many people options. No, I'm serious. My aunt, you're gonna kill me for this, but like my aunt would say, no, they don't need 4 sides. Right. Pick 2.
Right.
They'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a fact. When I had my gender reveal baby shower.
That's how it was.
All the way out, like yeah.
Yeah. So I just,
even when it comes to like say your parents, you know what I'm saying, and entrepreneur and us is like y'all starting this company. It's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? And it can become even greater than what you see if you live by your vision and don't live by agenda. I live by the vision, like the vision I see. And if more of us just live by your vision, you know what I'm saying? And I think we, as black people, I feel every black man should own a piece of land.
Yes.
Can you say that again?
Me on that right
now. I feel every black man should own a piece of land.
I'm sorry.
Every black man should own a piece of land.
Hold on. One more time. Listen to what this man is saying. You look right in that camera. Say that one more time. They're not making any more of it.
Yes, Lord.
You can't make more land. Get land.
But we do as people, but we make the wrong decisions with it. We might get land and build a house on it. Mm-hmm. It's not like, I'm saying get land and make it profitable for us and the generations to come behind it. Right. You know, but but that's what we've been taught. Get you some land, build your house, have it for your kids to pass down. No, your kids rather you pass down a whole business, a whole corporation.
Ain't that's what we did back in y'all can correct me, what was it, Black Wall Street?
Yeah, right.
I feel like that's the type of thing that should happen. Like, you know what I'm saying, all around, like each state, each city. We should have like us, like just some strong people in our community that comes together, put up money to get some land and, like you say, make it profitable and make something in the community. To kind of backtrack right quick, to kind of go off of that, I feel like some of the problem is, I'll say this in New Bern. I don't know about Raleigh, but I'll say in New Bern. They're taking a lot of things away from us that we used to have, like Stanley White Gym.
Right.
We don't have it no more. West New Bern, it's still there, but they don't allow like rec time like they used to.
Right.
They just put a building there.
I used to, and I used to go there like summertime. That's where we was at. We used to ball all the time. Summertime, we stayed there. West New Bern, the bowling alley is gone. YMCA is, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got to have a membership to get in. You know, I mean, it's always been like that. But I feel like they're taking a lot of things away from us in New Bern, which is keeping our kids kind of in the house.
Right. And it's funny you say that. Me and my sister was talking today, and we were talking about these different behaviors and stuff that kids have. And when you go to daycares and all these things, when you're bottling up someone in a house all day, they don't get to go outside and really let out energy and all this here. So when they're in the house, they become jittery and all over the place because they're not outside. As we was growing up, we used to stay outside all day.
You
know,
you couldn't make me come inside.
Right, but these new kids is not getting outside. You know, it's like, you know, those days are gone. You know what I'm saying? And so
is that because of technology now? Because of the internet? I feel like that's what it is now.
It's
kind of in a way.
It can be, but it all, you could say that's one of the problems, but I say the problem always go back to the parenting. because
how do we fix that then?
you fix it by saying, you know, I'm gonna actually be outside with my child. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do activities with my child. I'm gonna, you know, being a father is a very hard thing. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of, you know, I forgive hard because I want to be forgave. And one part of my life that I wasn't good at was being a father.
Right.
So I'm still, you know, repairing those parts of my life. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad we able to sit down. Y'all got kids, and I want y'all to really, you know, really understand, like, being a good son, you got to be that where you can be a good father and where you can, you know what I'm saying, tell your, you know what I'm saying, your kids, you know, the responsibility that they have is that's first being that, you know what I'm saying, being that, you know what I'm saying, because being a father is real hard. It's not as easy as it, you know, look, because you don't want to compromise being a father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us, we compromise it because we try to comfort the situation and the child or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying, a real father is not going to compromise no situation. He's going to be a father to the end. You know what I'm saying?
So, in your opinion, I mean, just from OG to young cat, like you say, you're imperfect. You're trying to repair what you know, from then. What could you tell me, like, right now, you know, to be a better father in more, you know what I'm saying, like, more detail? Like, because I feel like some people may think it's about money, spending this and that. I feel like it's more about the quality time. But what could you give me, like, right now to be a better father?
You want to go into it, like, really go into it? Or you just, okay, are you married?
I'm not.
Let's start there. Because you want your child to see that my parents is doing it the right way.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And part of, you know, people, it's a difference between marriage and being married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being married, like they ask me, you know, what do you think about same couples being married? I say, that's true, they can do it, I agree with it. But it ain't marriage. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
Right.
Marriage is over here, you know, it's based on being family.
Right.
And so if you want your child to see real family, she got to be able to see it, to identify it. So one of the things you want to correct about being a good son is, you know what I'm saying, you go down that road, you say, you know what I'm saying, I found me a wife, she's a good wife and I'm a good husband. Now I'm able to be a good father because I'm doing it the right way.
The right way. Right.
You know what I'm saying? You do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? It makes your parents proud. You know what I'm saying? To see that my son doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? That's what the parents really want to see. It ain't, you know, I used to think, man, I'm gonna get my mom a big house or do this here and do this right here, you know what I'm saying? But it took my mom to really tell me that, you know, if you just being a good son, that makes me prouder than everything.
Right.
Doing things the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I'd had to learn that, you know what I'm saying, that parents really look at how you're doing it the right way.
The right way.
You know, not saying that you're a bad person.
Right.
But that's that you do things the right way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you asked that question. We come here because, you know what I'm saying, you probably already thinking in your head. If you're a real good son, you're thinking in your head, you know what, man, I might need to get married. I might need to do this the right way. I might need to sit down with my significant other and talk about, like, really doing this the right way. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way.
Oh, yeah.
So since we're talking the right way, right? A lot of people, this is going to be triggering, this is going to be fiery, this is going to be spicy, right? You said the right way.
Right.
And I'm only saying this to get the flip side of the coin. I'm with you. I'm with you. Please look at me in the eyes. I'm with you.
Right.
I tried to do it the right way. You understand? Please don't take disrespect on how I say this, but I got to say it for the other viewers who may not feel that way.
Right.
Who the hell are you to tell us that that's the right way?
Right.
Where are you getting your ideologies from? No, I'm asking because today, which I've asked this question countless times and I plan on asking it more, to me, I want to love in the biblical sense.
Right.
You know, love is patient, love is kind, love is not boastful. It doesn't hold records of wrongs. It doesn't push their own ways. How in the hell can I do that in today's society? So how can you tell me what's right? Where are you getting that from?
It's biblical.
Right. Thank you.
It's all biblical.
Thank you. Read your damn Bible.
I'm gonna tell you, you say you've been married. You tried the right way.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go in. I went here, now I'm gonna go.
Oh
here.
no, we're getting real.
We're getting real. You know, but when you say I want a wife, right? in your mind, in your vision, you want a wife that fits you, suits you, that's for you, and all of that. That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
A suitable wife.
Suitable
yes.
wife, right? That's what we want. Somebody that's, in the biblical sense, that ain't how God is actually viewing it. He gonna give you a sinner because that's what we are. And in the union that we have, we work for each other, become one, to become better for each other. But we don't look at it as, I'm getting a sinner. I'm getting somebody that's that's not right. You know what I'm saying? We looking at, she is right. No, she's not right, or he's not right. But he's saying he wants to make things right by coming together in a union and forming a family to become better. And that's the only way we become better. We got to admit that, we're both sinners. We both coming into this union to make things better for us, because the world is not going to make things better for us. Right. So we got to do it ourselves.
I love that because home always comes first. I believe I can't fix the world's issues, but what I can do, I can make sure my son,
right,
I can make sure my daughter,
right,
I can make sure when me and my wife leave the house, we come off with this light that's different, right, and use us as an example, as a what is the word? I want to use an intelligent word, and it's just it's not there. But it's just reflecting my ideologies and what I believe is right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
So, the publishing and the book.
Right.
So after this, like even after you leave today, like what's next? Like what are you going to go do next?
Actually, when I leave here, I'm going to Raleigh and I'm going to a group home, and I'm gonna sit down and talk to some boys at a group home. And that's really my passion, is talking to them. The reason, when I went to prison, mm-hmm, you know what I'm saying? I stayed in prison a very long time. And when I came home and my friend introduced me to working with the troubled youth, I didn't like it. I'm coming from prison with a lot of noise, I just wanted to detox from prison.
Right.
For a minute, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not being thrown in with these troubled youths and they yelling, cussing at you, spitting on you, spitting
I just
in
left
your face.
this.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, man, I just had to battle all this, and I'm coming back to this. But you know what I'm saying? He stayed on me, and my wife stayed on me, and I had some good friends around me that say, man, just keep going, man. You got it. It was something they seen in me, I guess, and they was like, they need to listen to you. They need to hear your story. They need to, right. And they just kept pressing it into me. And the more they press it into me, I start seeing myself in these kids. It's just a part of me. When I look at them, I see myself. Mm-hmm. And then I be trying to it's like I'm trying to save myself. I'm trying to save them, but right. Because I see myself in them.
Right.
And I see that they're going down a road that's very destructive. And some of them go all the way to the graveyard. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really make me, I be like, you know what I'm saying? It hurts. You know what I'm saying? And so I be like, I gotta keep doing it until I make a difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because these kids, it was me one time, you know what I'm saying? And by God's grace, he allowed me to overcome it and be this guy that I am now, which like I said, I'm still becoming. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like when I become full circle, I'm gonna be a good friend. I'm gonna be a good brother. I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be good, just a good person overall.
With your podcast, so like you say, you are planning on doing that. Do you have a name yet?
Yeah, In Due Time.
In Due Time.
Everything is up under the In Due Time umbrella. Because I feel like in due time, everything could come to light, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you're patient enough, you know what I'm saying? In due time, everything that comes to you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in due time, everything, the book, the show, even us meeting, I've been following your show. People been telling me, hey man, you need to talk to him. But I just did it in God's time, and in due time, I knew eventually that we was gonna link up and we was gonna, be beneficial for both of us. You know what I'm saying? Cool. And so it's under the due time. I got a book. It's called How to Defeat a Champion, and that's and I feel like it's for the community. Because every day we wake up, we want to come back in with victory. Right. Nobody want to come back home defeated.
Right.
I don't know if y'all feel that way. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If not for yourself, for your household, you want to come back in. I told my wife, the other day, I typed and I said, the day we're gonna receive victory. You know what I'm saying? Because every day is not the same. Yeah. Every battle is not the same. But if you got the mindset of, I'm not gonna let this champion defeat me. You know, because the world is undefeated, the streets undefeated, but people keep trying it, thinking they can get a different result from it.
The streets are undefeated.
Yeah, it's undefeated. You got to learn how to defeat it.
They're not designed for you.
You got to learn how to defeat it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yep.
So I have one last question, and then I'm actually I don't know if he has any more questions, but afterwards, if you have any questions for us, I would like you to ask them so we can build community.
Right.
Okay. How important is therapy to you?
Therapy to me is like top. You know, when you say mental is dealing with the mind. When you say mind, that's spiritual. I feel like it's not enough spiritual therapy available in the community for us, other than what the church is giving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It has to be something other than what our church is offering. And it has to be another message other than what the church is giving. You know what I'm saying? Truth is truth, but you got to know how to speak it. That's why when I come up here, I try not to waste no words. I try to make every word that I said be worth its value. And I feel like the therapy that the community needs from different levels of people, because, you know, the podcast show is about, we got widows in our communities that's not getting no help from the community at all, or the church.
Yeah.
You know, we got the fatherless. The Bible said help the widows and the fatherless. We got kids that look like the same friends that y'all say y'all lost in the streets. They probably left kids behind. So you got these kids that's fatherless.
Yeah.
And now they're coming up bitter, trying to be raised in a one-parent home that's difficult to do.
Right.
And they're not getting no real help other than people that have problems also. It's hard to get help from a person. You got a problem, I'm getting help from a person that got a problem. Right. You know. And it's
We're all
difficult.
suicidal kids telling other suicidal kids that suicide's not the answer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the therapy that we need, I feel like we need to create that avenue, the bridge, the gap. It's like the bridge is like this far, but we can bridge it and bring it together. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take. I ain't saying this is gonna happen overnight. You know, like snap up, like, you know, Torry vision came to the light.
Right.
No, it's gonna take a lot of more messages like this one, like you got. And you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna keep moving. Like, I see you creating more content, you're doing things, but I also see like a spiritual side to you. You want to see the community do better. Right. You know, you coming from a family that, you know, they got their own businesses, so you very smart. You understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't do like I did at that time, because I didn't know how important what I was seeing was that important.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to know what you're seeing is that important, and use that value that they give you. That's, you know, I got a lot of respect for your parents, man. They're really, really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. This thing they doing is really big. I really do. Even though they never heard me say it with my audible voice. Right. But behind the scenes, I'm always saying, you know, yeah, my brother, he employs my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, man, he's real good. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes just because we don't hear the audible voice, we feel like, oh, you don't respect what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he don't, but that ain't the case, because you don't know who's watching you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, man, it comes down to people just, you know, when you make people aware of what you're doing, they'll support it. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like, say, we might ride past 1,000 restaurants. We're aware it's there. That don't mean we're going to support it right then.
Right.
But one day we might stop and say, you know what? I'm going to come in here and get a whatever. You know what I'm saying? So my goal is now just to make everybody aware of what I'm doing.
What about mentorship? You feel like that's needed too? That plays part of a role?
Yes.
Into the community as well?
Yeah. Because
I feel like it's not a lot of that anymore as well. Like growing up, I'll say mentorship for us, you know, if we was playing sports or so, we may have had that certain coach that we really looked up to, you know what I'm saying? Or even like a police officer. It might have been a certain police officer that we know that's well respected. Like, I don't know if you know Coach Powell on New Bern. But he's like one that's like, he was a coach too. He coached me in football, but he was like somebody that everybody well respected. Right. Like even after he retired, like he's just well respected. So what do you think about mentorship?
That's just as important as like he said, and the reason it is because you bring the family part in it, and people think that family mean blood relatives, but it's a difference between family and a blood relative.
Right.
If I'm being a family, if I'm bringing the guy in, I say I'm going to mentor him, that means I got to be family to him. That's the bond that you got with them. That's what you're creating with that person, and you treating them as family. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, because we know blood relatives can be just as bad as enemies or or bad people, and they can be a blood relative. But when you say somebody's family, that's the real bond that you have. You know what I'm saying? I got blood relatives that's real bad, like real bad people. I don't even really speak. I just, hey, how y'all doing? Then I got people that I consider family that's of different race, different, creeds and colors and everything. But I still say they're family because I was mentored. I was racist at one time in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because of things that happened that my grandma told me, you know what I'm saying? But see how when I become full circle, the person that taught me everything that I really know, the wisdom that I had was a white guy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? There's
That's
a lot of
whole nother conversation we getting into later.
Yeah, right. And a lot of people look at it and they be like, you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He came to me, man, and he came to me in a way that just really broke me down and showed me that, you need correction. And I had to admit it, like I needed correction. I was a guy that didn't honor being corrected. But, you know what I'm saying, now I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good son. That's being a good part of being a good son is, I remain teachable. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I really lean on and embrace, being corrected. If a person can correct me if I'm doing wrong, I'm willing to say, well, please forgive me for it. You know what I'm saying? Or those like I don't speak to be followed. I just speak truth. You know what I'm saying? For somebody can embrace it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I said anything wrong to you, y'all feel like I said something wrong to you, then I feel like I just apologize and just forgive me for saying it. But I feel like I said everything that needed to be said in truth. Yeah. That's what I kind of try to stand on.
Stand on your truth.
Stand
on your truth.
Do you have any questions for us that you might be curious about?
Hey man,
from the youth, basically, is what I'm saying.
What y'all done for me, I'm just humble. I'm a humble guy. I tell you, I'm real. I'm powerfully forgiving. I'm powerfully grateful. I'm powerfully humble because y'all giving me an opportunity to, to express myself and what I got going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how big or small it may get. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That ain't what I'm pursuing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all can always know. Y'all can call me and be like, hey man, come on the show, man. We got a good feedback, you know what I'm saying, or a good thing about that. And you know what I'm saying? So y'all become family to me. So you know what I'm saying? And that's how I view it. And I just met y'all, you know what I'm saying? But I got a warm embrace from y'all. Y'all took me in and say, hey man, come up here, man, do it. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing what I was gonna talk about or anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate, y'all giving me that opportunity. And maybe hopefully I can come back.
You're always welcome, man.
Yeah, and we could talk on some more issues. Like I said, I got like a broad band of issues and content that I could talk from. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I can come back. I know I'm coming back in probably July. The book launches probably July 22nd. I think me and my wife circle a date, and I want to do.
We'll help promote that.
Yeah, and we can do like a book signing, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And live broadcast show with book signing, and we just start making a real difference, man. We just talking it is one thing, but actually trying to really get this thing moving.
Right.
It's going to take more than just us. We got to start getting these guys together and separating the weak from the strong. Like, if you ain't with it, okay, cool, we ain't mad at you or anything. That's okay. Let's stand over there and watch that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And let's move for the mental health, for the youth, and for the community. For the widows.
You ain't getting no haircut.
And the fatherless.
Okay.
So
like, I respect, for one, thank you for being on too, because like we like to have a couple episodes where we actually have like deep conversations.
Right.
We're big on mental health.
Right.
We talk about therapy all the time. Like we're big on that. So yeah, but I appreciate you for coming on and just giving us some wisdom from OG to young cats.
Right.
But with that being said, if you could just give us one last message, like before we get out, like whether it's just something out of the Bible or scripture or just a spiritual message or anything, if you could just give us one last message to get out, like what would you lead us or give us today?
Man,
that can be something out the book.
Life, man. Life takes you through different situations and things. In learning life, you change. Right? Yeah. You agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I hope.
How many times you think you changed so far?
A lot.
Let's count them down. We're going to both count them down. I don't even know how many changed, but I can just go by what's the numbers say, right? Mm-hmm. From 0 to 7, did you change? From 0 to 7 years old, right?
Yeah.
Did you change from 7 to 14?
Yes.
14 to 21?
Yep.
So there's 3 changes right there. And I don't even know you, but I know you changed 3 different ways.
Definitely.
Right? So now you're going into the 21 to 28.
26, yeah.
Right? So up in there, you're changing again. And now you got a child.
Yeah. And that's a big change.
So it's like I'm changing and when I leave the house, somebody's depending on me. And that's a big change in your life.
Your pivotal moment.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what you got to say to yourself is, look, man, I gotta correct myself of everything that I feel can be corrected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing that I'm big on, correcting myself. I'm not trying to correct you or point fingers. I got to correct myself. You know what I'm saying? So if we could correct ourselves, then we can be better for each other when we're around each other. Because it's based on we're constantly getting better. You know what I'm saying? Or do you want to just, it's like this here. You remember the old cassette tapes?
Yeah.
You don't want to press pause, rewind it back. The next day you get up, press play, you live in the same life. Rewind it back again. You know what I'm saying? Press play, you live in the same life. No, you want to cut a new version of yourself every day.
Yeah. I was gonna be woke, you feel me? I was gonna be like, yo, nah, I changed after this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
So look, with that being said, Torry, I appreciate you,
right.
aka Toe.
Right.
Stand in your truth.
Yes.
That'd be like a good name for this episode. Stand in your truth.
And also, I wasn't over here being disrespectful. I wrote down some things because I have of a goldfish, like I just said. Mm-hmm. What I got out of this was just a few words. Mm-hmm. Unit, accountability, mm-hmm. empathy, baton passing
right.
for trailblazers, mm-hmm. therapy,
right.
self-correction,
yes,
servant,
right,
and redemption.
Hey, bro, you put it all. You put it better than I can put it.
So that's what I got out of this. I hope viewers at home, I hope that's what you got. I hope that if you got anything else, leave it in the comments. And definitely,
there's one more you missed.
What is that?
The unity of older talking to a younger.
Oh, that's what I meant by baton.
That's right.
Baton passing.
Right.
Baton passing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, got you. So, once again, thank you. Thank you. God, yeah. And, hey, man, as black man, as a human being, I love you.
I love you too, brother. I love all us, brother.
Too.
Right. Hey, we need to do more of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it like this. Then we can end it right here. By you saying that was real deep, bro. That was like probably the deepest thing I heard today. You know, to hear, you know what I'm saying, brothers come together, man, and be like, hey, bro, I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because we got this thing that real men don't supposed to say that or don't supposed to cry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But real men cry. Not physical tears, but from a place within you that's able to connect with God in a way that I could say I love you. But if I'm not, you know what I'm saying? If I'm saying, I ain't trying to connect or I ain't trying to say that, you know what I'm saying? That ain't really being a real man. Real men cry, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not physical tears, but from a substance that they have in them. You know what I'm saying? You just used that substance to say it. Right. You didn't have to say it, but you used it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I respect you for that.
Thank you. So, hey, man, this is the Pod Family. Sessions for Your Blessings. All day 1102 Network. Thank you for watching and tune in for the next time.
We out.
Yeah. Hey, brother, that was a good show, bro.
Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it.